By the way, this was significant, wasn't it? Hang on.
When I didn't win the election, by not winning the election, and then when the election was rigged and lost.
So that would be, isn't that the defense that they're going to try for January 6th, as though he really thought he won? I mean,
yeah,
that was significant.
No,
right?
but there's no evidence that he really thought he won. There's nothing but evidence that he lied to everybody, claiming he won, telling them to attack the Capitol or they won't have a country anymore. So, Steph, it's so frustrating because all we need to do is get an indictment, walk into court in downtown D.C., and begin presenting this to 12 jurors. And I would do it for free, for real. And the jurors aren't stupid. They will get this right. They will hear him say things like, I lost the election. And they'll say, hey, those are the words out of his own mouth. That is the best evidence of his intent. We just got to get this justice show on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk. Oh, sorry. You get some water out of your
There you go.
Giant justice mug. Okay. So obviously Ivanka Trump, you tweeted about that. Let's just talk about this week and what was most significant. You said her testimony will help prove that her father wanted the attack on the Capitol to succeed. It was quite a few hours that she and Kirschner testified. What is your take on what happened there or what it's going to mean legally?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's really interesting. I've got a piece going up on MSNBC Daily today that I authored about Ivanka's testimony, and I've got something right here that's sticking.
Oh, no, that's okay. Please have some more justice juice.
So here's the thing. I actually think Ivanka and perhaps even Jared, because he sat for 6 or 8 hours of testimony, are a little bit smarter than the members of the cover-up club. That would be Bannon, Roger Stone, Mark Meadows, Scavino, and Navarro, and a few of the others, because they really did not want to catch a charge for contempt of Congress. And all of those men that I just named, they've all been, I think, but for Roger Stone, they've all been referred for criminal prosecution. And the problem is when you are willing to commit the crime of contempt of Congress in your desperate attempt to hide information that would incriminate Donald Trump, well, you have more charges in store for you, Steph, than just a simple contempt of Congress charge. That gives rise to felony charges like obstructing an official congressional proceeding, obstructing justice, accessory after the fact, because these men have been willing to commit the crime of contempt of Congress to bury incriminating information about Donald Trump rather than sharing it with the J6 committee. At least Ivanka and Jared decided we're not going that way. We're not going to distinguish ourselves as part of Donald Trump's conspiracy, which is ongoing to this day, this conspiracy, as we will see when the ultimate indictments are handed down. So they said, let me just go in there, say my piece. I'm sure there was lots of bluff and bluster and misdirection and equivocation, but they didn't try to assert a privilege, not executive privilege, not their Fifth Amendment privilege against self-incrimination, and not a daddy-daughter or a father-in-law, son-in-law privilege, which there is no such thing. They sat down, they testified, and what they did is they incriminated Donald Trump, and I can tell you how.
Yeah, okay.
Here's how. Keith Kellogg, okay, that was Vice President Mike Pence's national security advisor, said in real time, as the attack on the Capitol was in progress, we all went into the Oval Office and told the president, please call off the attack, condemn the violence, stop your dogs, right? Paraphrasing that last one.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump refused, according to Keith Kellogg, a retired military general and Pence's national security advisor. He's not as bad as many of the others that were in Trump's orbit. And then he said, I tried and failed. Mark Meadows tried and failed. Kayleigh McEnany tried and failed. Ivanka tried and failed, so we sent her back into the Oval Office a second time because she can be pretty tenacious. And she couldn't get her father to stop the attack on the Capitol. Steph, that is a president in a very real way waging war against the United States. Even his own daughter couldn't stop him. That is deeply incriminating information. Presumably, it's been provided by Ivanka under oath to the J6 committee. And if I were prosecuting the case, she would be one of the very early witnesses I called, because let Donald Trump's attorney try to say, Ivanka, she was the coffee girl, barely knew her, never met her. She's incredible. Let them try that. That dog won't hunt.
So Glenn, a bunch of things this week. Obviously, DOJ plans to investigate boxes of records taken from Trump's Mar-a-Lago. How many boxes with this? The ones labeled
15.
top secret? 15. Thank you. The department's facing increasing political pressure to disclose its plans. Carolyn Maloney accused the Justice Department of obstructing her committee's investigation. I know we're all screaming at the Justice Department, but I know that was one of them. You're like, didn't we have a whole Hillary Clinton thing about? So, what is your take on DOJ in general, on January 6th and on this case?
Yeah, I was really disheartened by this story yesterday. I did a video about it, even put a little bass in my voice, I think, because I was really upset. So when you have the Department of Justice, on the one hand, refusing to indict somebody like Mark Meadows, who committed the crime of contempt of Congress. Congress is the victim there. They're trying to do their job of investigating Trump's crimes, and they're being stymied by the Department of Justice on that front. And then on the other front, when you have the Oversight Committee, but still another congressional committee trying to get to the bottom of Donald Trump's misconduct, and you have the Department of Justice, quote, interfering, Representative Maloney's word, with their investigation by saying, we're not going to let you know anything about the 15 boxes Donald Trump stole in violation of the Presidential Records Act and whisked away to Mar-a-Lago. We're not going to let you know anything about that. So you can't do your job of trying to hold Donald Trump accountable, because we might someday deign to open an investigation into that. I'm sorry. The branches of government should be working together to the extent they can, in one another's work toward that common goal. So that story yesterday, Steph, really set me off.
Yeah. Well, obviously they've sort of confirmed they're investigating Trump, right, for January 6th. Where is that in your mind? We talked about before that obviously the committee did a lot of shots across the bow to Merrick Garland about doing his job.
Let's remember that once that federal judge out in California, Judge David Carter, announced in his findings that by a preponderance of the evidence, 51% of the evidence, Donald Trump committed crimes against the United States. Mind you, you only need about 45% of the evidence, probable cause, to indict him. Federal judge said there's even more evidence than that. All of a sudden, after a federal judge said that, what did we get? All kinds of leaks. I called they're not really leaks, they're covert press releases from the Department of Justice saying, wait, we're investigating, promise. We're investigating the fake electors. We're investigating the organizers, funders, and the planners of the insurrection. We're investigating. I do believe they are, and I do believe they're doing it quietly behind the scenes in ways we don't know. But that doesn't mean they're doing it in a timely manner, with a sense of urgency that these crimes require. So I think it's still being done. Yeah. I think it has already taken too long. And if it takes much longer, we run the risk of losing it all.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously the other big story is WTF in Manhattan. So Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg issued a statement clarifying that his office is still investigating Trump. In recent weeks, he said the Manhattan District Attorney's office has been repeatedly asked whether our investigation concerning President Trump, the Trump Organization, and its leadership is continuing. It is. This, of course, comes after the resignation of the top two prosecutors who said Donald Trump absolutely committed crimes, and they obviously implied they were not going to go forward with prosecuting them. Bragg wrote, "It's open, it's active. We have a great team in place of dedicated career prosecutors working every day. We're exploring evidence that's not been previously explored. We will leave no stone unturned." Is this for real? Is he doing cleanup? Is this, what is your take on this?
Yeah, there's actually a legal term for the statement that Bragg just released. It's horse hockey. That's what it is. So who would have thought that the newly elected district attorney for Manhattan would have to go on a reputation rehabilitation tour just months after he was sworn in? I'm sorry, but I'm not crediting any of Alvin Bragg's words. I will only credit the actions that we see coming out of the New York District Attorney's office, because Mark Pomerantz, lead prosecutor on the case until he resigned, told us all in the letter, definitively, unambiguously, there's enough evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that Donald Trump committed crimes, and we can prove it. Cy Vance authorized us to indict Donald Trump and said as soon as possible. And then Alvin Bragg says, there's not enough evidence, but I'm going to keep investigating, but I'm going to return the evidence to the witnesses. Can I tell you, Steph, as a prosecutor, I typically didn't return evidence to witnesses if I contemplated trying that case, bringing those charges in the future. I don't believe a word out of that man's mouth has to rehabilitate his reputation just 3 or 4 months into his term. I'm sorry. I feel like that's a dead investigation.
Chris, who is America's early warning system?
Black ladies.
Yes. Okay. So Justice Jackson, also Letitia James. Is this our last shred of hope? She's asking the court to begin issuing fines to Trump while he delays producing documents subpoenaed by the court. She said the judge's order was crystal clear. Donald Trump must comply with our subpoena, turn over relevant documents. So the $10,000 would apply to every day that Trump does not produce the documents. Somebody trying to get some accountability from the amount of whining he had in relation to this. I'm going to guess that he's even broker than we think he is. But I mean, that's obviously. I mean, what's your take on that?
Civil investigation issues where she was trying to get him to sit for a deposition, said that Trish James' investigation uncovered, quote, copious amounts of evidence of possible financial fraud. So don't you think that Donald Trump has been emboldened in all of his New York cases once once the district attorney for New York killed the criminal investigation into Donald Trump? Don't you think that emboldened him to then say figuratively to Tish James, oh, and I'm going to comply with your little civil subpoena orders and court orders? Not going to happen. The judge, I predict, will hold him in contempt. The judge will impose a daily fine of $10,000, I think is what Attorney General James is requesting. And that will roll off him like water off a duck's back. He won't care. He won't comply. He knows he is confident that nobody will hold. And, until somebody does, he probably is getting it right.
Yeah. I'm just saying this would be a really good week for just some sort of something. Universe, little something, indictment of any kind, just something surprising.
I can pull out the big gavel of justice if that would help, Steph. I
think
it's legal in most states to pull out the big gavel of justice. Here it is. I mean, I'm ready to hit somebody figuratively.
Yes.
With the big gavel of justice.
It always makes me happy when you whip out your giant gavel. It's just, a little gift. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You always make me happy, no matter what. Thank you, Eric. Oh, geez.
Oh, Glenn.
That's all right. Hang in there, Steph.
Wow.
Hang in there.
Wow. That is embarrassing.
Hang in there. And yet, strangely, that was a very.
It was a compliment.
I'm honored that you just said that.
Sorry.
So, thank you.
I'm going to start crying now. I love you, Glenn.
Thanks, Glenn.
I know your name.
Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay.